Hello and welcome to another video. So we're going to go over the NGE first place Mana Storm JaZe Vengeance Blood decks. This is the other deck he took to NGE and won with. So we're going to go over a few games with it. It's your pretty standard Vengeance list honestly, with Blood-Fed Flowerbed as a pretty cool little card in the deck that I haven't seen put in many other Vengeance Blood decks, so I don't mind that too much. Everything else is pretty stock standard. You've got, you know, Succubus, Angel Word, Dark Generals, Belfs, Air Gemmers, no Soul Dealers, which I like. I'm not a fan of Soul Dealer in any way, shape or form. A couple of Bloodkins for more board pressure, and other than that, just your Blood, Spiderweb and Urius. So we'll get right into the games. Alright, so game one here is against Sword.
Time to get started.
Most of these games are reasonably quick. We start off with a nice hand, both 2 drops and a 3 drop. Can't really go wrong with that. We can just throw out whatever we need as we go, sort of thing, which is nice. And we get a 1 drop. Getting that Blood-Fed Flowerbed is actually not too bad. It's almost as good as an Ambling Wraith, and it also makes some interesting finishes if you pull that off. So we do get to go for the Spiderweb Imp. I could have went Blood Wolf, but I thought against Sword I may as well get the ward out first, just to defend a little bit. And they go for Kunoichi Trainee, having a nice little bit of ambush. And I get to push out my Blood. So, since we're going to go Belf turn 4 anyway, we're going to put ourselves at approximately 9 by that turn anyway, so I wasn't too worried about losing a little bit of health to these combos. We also have Dark General, which is a huge boost after the Belfier. Unfortunately they do clear the board, but we also do get Dark Air Jammer, which, you know, turn 5 is perfect follow-up to the Belficore play. So this deck doesn't run any other really major cards that I've run in previous Blood decks, such as the Vengeance Knight dude, who is a 4/4 for 3. He's really cool. Other than that, everything else is pretty standard. So unfortunately we do have to deal with this, which is kind of annoying. So I play for the luck, I guess, a little bit. Kinda luck. I was gonna say I had a probably a 2 in 3 chance of pulling one of the useful cards, and Urius being the least useful, so I had good odds there really. Especially since I had a Urius in hand, meaning my odds were increased. So unfortunately we do have to deal with that Frog. Frog being one of the more annoying cards to deal with. I was sure they were going to hit the Urius, but they decided to hit the Jammer. I'm guessing because they didn't want the evolve damage being close to lethal. So that was their aim. Unfortunately with that stat gain, we do get more damage on them. Now I had to decide what I wanted to do here, and this probably wasn't the best play. I decided to use Succubus. I was under the assumption Succubus had Drain, but it doesn't, so that was my mistake. It's just something that I didn't read properly when I first played it out there, so it's not too bad though, getting a 4/5 drop and getting a second Urius out. This on the other hand does kind of screw me over a little bit. They completely clear my board. Cyclone a little bit of a pain, but we do get Air Jammer again. So that puts us in an okay spot because we do have the Spiderweb Imp, meaning they have to have something to deal with this before they can actually hit me. And they need to be able to deal with the board. Fortunately they do get Ninja Master for themselves. So from this point I'm pretty screwed. I either need to draw really well or hope the Blood Pact pulls something off. And unfortunately I draw really bad, so we go into Blood Pact. And RNG is in my favour because we draw Razor Claw, which is lethal. Meaning I didn't have to worry about trying to Hungering Horde anything, and I could just go straight for the game, which is really nice. Game 2 is versing Haven. So we get to take the Blood straight against Haven. Not too bad. So we get a okay hand, you know, the 1 drop, 2 drop, 4 drop. I wasn't going to pass up the Belf when getting Vengeance activators is usually a pain in the ass. And Flowerbed just seems a really interesting card. I didn't expect to like it, but it seems to do quite well. And obviously all these decks that I'm doing for NGE are tournament decks, so on ranked they aren't going to perform anywhere near as well as they probably will perform in tournament formats. But they seem to do quite well at the moment, just based around the meta. So they're definitely going to do well, especially in the earlier ranks like A and AA. I'd assume will do quite well. So we just go, you know, the standard 1-2. Unfortunately, Angel Word making 3, which is nice, and we just push more damage to face because I know Haven can heal and I don't want to wait that out. So the more damage I can push to face, the better here. And knowing that Belf will be dropped on turn 4, we're not too worried. So, our turn 4 Belphegor. Fortunately, that does get us a Blood Wolf and the Oblique Drain, which are both core cards to being an awesome combo pieces. We can go for the 4-cost Blood Wolf and then use Drain to clear something and have the draw, which is nice. Unfortunately, we do see Priest, which is kind of expected. If they aren't playing Priest on 4, Haven's usually losing, which is kind of unfortunate. But we still do have plenty of cards in our hand for options, with Blood Wolf being dropped and the Diabolic Drain. So I played this as a little risky, I guess. We do have 7 health, which isn't too much, but playing against Haven, there's not much I really needed to worry about. The worst case possibly here would have been that we got Ancient Lion, in which case I would have played probably Dance of Death or Air Jammer. Priest here is also not great, unfortunately, because it is quite strong. But Ancient Lion, I'm pretty sure, would have been a lot worse, in my opinion. So with what's left, we can easily drop Air Jammer. I was tempted to go Dance, but Air Jammer just seemed like a better play. Getting a couple of followers, I had a chance at drawing into double Wolf, which would have actually gave me lethal. So I took that chance. Unfortunately, we got double Urius, which isn't bad either. I mean, Haven, anything they play is now going to deal damage to them, which they want to avoid. So we now get to ping off a couple more damage, setting them to 4, and opening up options for Dance of Death. And with that, we have enough points to go for lethal. We have 2 on board and the Dance of Death. And if we really wanted, we could use Blood Fence. We really only needed to have 1 damage stick around on board, and we would have still had lethal.
No! No! I envy you.
Alrighty, on to the final game for this video. We have Forest, so we got a nice little bit of variation. So again, we draw Belf. I think if you're drawing Belf in your opening hand, you're pretty much guaranteed to win. I did win all these 3 games in a row, so I don't have a giant sample size for games, but the games that I do have, I've pretty heavily won, with a couple of risks here and there, but not too bad. So they do drop Water Fairy as their opener. A little bit of an annoying card, but I do get to drop Urius. I decide against Forest. Urius is probably the better option early because there's not much that they can use to compete against it, outside of maybe their 2 damage to ban a card. And fortunately, Spiderweb Imp now becomes a good option. Okay, so we don't have too much left here to play out really. We've got Belf for 4, which is awesome, which combos nicely with Dark General. Other than that, there's not much that the Forest player has out at the moment that really threatens us. And Urius is just slowly pinging the damage, so that's really nice. So we do just play the Belf, and we hope that we get a couple of nice draws to go along with our hand. And we get okay draws. So actually quite happy with them. We ping that couple of damage, and we just wait this out. So turn 4, you know, we don't need to expect too much. They do play Elven Princess Mage, which means they do get a couple of fairies. I'm guessing they're playing Roach, which is pretty obvious. Most Forestcraft players do play Roach. It's not a difficult deck to play, especially when all you have to do is math it out, so it's not too bad. And from here we pretty much got the perfect hand. We can easily deal with Elf by using Diabolic Drain. We get to push, what, 11 damage here? Which is a substantial amount of damage, setting us up for the Razor Claw finisher. It is a pity we didn't have one more point. We would have been able to easily play Razor Claw, but they concede. So, this deck has performed really quite well. I enjoyed playing it. It's definitely a fun deck. I can see why JaZe played it for NGE. It performs really well, and there's not much more to say about it. I'd like to congratulate JaZe again for coming first in NGE, and we'll continue on with these NGE decks for the next little bit. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to smack that like button and subscribe for more content, and I'll catch you guys next time. See ya.